Hello, everyone. My guest today is Kevin Price. He's a unique character, an Oklahoma farm boy that bought a Commodore 64 when he was 9 and taught himself BASIC. He's been immersed in technology and the sciences that underlie it since really his entire life. Electrical engineering, chemistry, physics, and material science is now building Accucode, where he's helping simple, scalable, and repeatable business solutions get launched at scale. Kevin, you ready to take us to the top?
I am.
All right. So talk to me. When did you launch the company? How old is the company?
24 years ago this month.
Wow. Okay. So was that 95?
Yep, 1995.
That is pretty incredible. Okay. So you launched in 95. And what was the company back then? I assume it's pivoted since.
We originally started out as a value-added reseller of barcode scanning equipment and mobile and wireless technology back when they were all very new. Barcode scanners were $2,000 a piece.
Okay. And then so fast forward to today, are you more of a pure play SaaS company?
No. We've got 3 software as a service products today. We're also according to Computer Reseller News, we're one of the largest resellers and managed service providers of IT infrastructure in North America.
What is that? 40. What's IT infrastructure?
Network infrastructure, mobile computing, barcode scanning, at this point, self-proliferating across most businesses.
Mm-hmm. And help me understand today, how do you measure the businesses, right? Do you separate them all out, or do you look at kind of weighted averages across the entire business, or what?
There are 8 separate lines of business inside of the platform that is the original parent company now. They are all separate LLCs. They're all set up with the intention of being able to take on investment, of ultimately building up and exiting. Mm-hmm. And they're run from the beginning with audited financials and all of the things that are necessary in order to be ready to go sell a business when the right buyer shows up.
Are you bootstrapped today, or did you choose to raise capital?
We're still bootstrapped. I love 100% of the company.
I love that. You're my kind of founder, man. That's good stuff. All right. What does growth look like? So Inc. reported in 2017, total revenue was about $63.3 million. What did you finish 2018 at?
Actually, we were pretty flat last year. We finished right at $63 million, but we're on track this year. It looks like we're going to have our first $100 million year.
Why were you flat?
There was a lot of, from an industry standpoint, the tariffs and some of the other things paused a lot of capital purchasing in big enterprises. They were waiting to see what was going to happen. And to some degree, we're still dealing with some of that, but pent-up demand can only wait so long.
Yeah. And couldn't you argue the opposite point, which is people, saw Trump and said, this is going to be very all over the place. We're going to pre-buy a bunch in 2018. So you should have seen a huge spike in 2018.
I'm sure there was some of that. We didn't see that.
Interesting. Okay. So you think this year will be your first $100 million year. We got 6 months left in the year. What are you at today?
We're sitting at a little over 50 already.
Okay, good. So, it's not like an unrealistic goal. That feels pretty accurate.
Yeah.
And where's kind of break down, let's just use 100 million because that's easy. So break down the 100 million you think you'll do this year. What % of that will be SaaS?
Not enough. So the two software as a service products, the enterprise offerings we've got out today. One, we've got Rapid Inventory, which is a cloud-based warehouse management system for QuickBooks users. So if you're on QuickBooks Pro, Premier, Enterprise, you can go license that product for $60 a month per concurrent user. That product's been running uninterrupted since 2007. It originally was launched as Intuit Warehouse Management. They branded it as their own product and took it out to market for the first 3 years.
Okay, and what will that do this year?
It's still the only multi-tenant cloud-based solution in that market.
Well, what do you think that'll do this year?
Yeah, so that's going to do about $500,000 this year. It's been running for a long time, but that QuickBooks market is shrinking. Yep. They've shifted most of their customers to the online QuickBooks Online, and other competitors like Xero are starting to take a lot more customers to the cloud.
Yep.
We've got Jellyfish, which is a brand new product just launched in January this year. We've got our first commercial customers on that. It's going to do less than $1 million this year, but it is a unified order management platform that can really be applied to any wholesale buying sector. We originally targeted for the food and beverage industry. We had a product called AO Bar that we put out in the Android and iOS markets about 5 years ago that was free software that basically allowed you to order beer, wine, and liquor from all of your different your liquor distributors as a restaurant and to do all your inventory for your bar.
There's the Oklahoma boy.
Yep. So the point, we learned a lot from that piece of free software and the several thousand bars that used it to order from their suppliers. And we built that based Jellyfish on as a next generation version of that. And it really, you can use it to order from any wholesale market or supplier. A single screen allows you to scan barcodes, enter quantities, and order from all your different suppliers. And then the system breaks it up into electronic orders and transmits it to all of the different vendors.
So Kevin, it sounds like your software revenue this year might be something like $1 or $2 million, right?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. So
we sold a software as a service company last year called Velocity Mail that was doing about $5.5 million. And that was, we sold it to Descartes, which is a publicly traded company out of Canada. It was a $26 million cash exit. And my first is Accucode. I helped an employee start a business, and we exited that several years ago. That was another software as a service startup that we did internally.
Okay, so you sell Velocity Mail last year. That brings in. It was doing 5.5 in terms of annual revenue. You sold it for call it 5x, 26 million all cash. You pile that back into Accucode. How, as a founder, do you make the decision between using that capital to keep building the company versus taking it out and paying like a dividend to yourself and maybe some employees as a bonus?
We pulled out between the team that went with that business and what management took out. We took out about $5 million.
Okay.
In cash, and then the rest is staying in the company and sitting on my balance sheet right now. And I bought some land in Colorado Springs. We've got 6.5 acres. We're about to build start building our first facilities down there.
Why do you need facilities? Do you actually take hold of things you're reselling? You need inventory space?
Out of our logistics facility in Louisville, Kentucky, we shipped over 300,000 shipments last year.
Wow. Why do you actually take control of the inventory? Why can't you just be a reseller right in the middle?
One of the things that makes Accucode unique in the enterprise IT space is that we are one of the literally only guys in the distributed device population space that can take ownership of daily operational service and support for tens of thousands of devices at thousands of locations and make sure they keep showing up every day and work. Mm-hmm. And we've got customers like Kroger and Discount Tire and lots of grocery and retail type businesses and manufacturing companies that we are basically their IT support and service every day. We're the guys who answer the phone. We do the updates. We run the spare pool, and we make sure that they have equipment that works.
Yeah. Now, if you're putting
products is what allows us to do that. We have a product called For Work that's another software as a service platform we're launching this year that has been our own internal project management workflow automation platform for 4 or 5 years now. And now we're launching it out as a gig economy platform for running these same kind of projects at other companies.
Mm-hmm. So Kevin, if you take, $2 or $3 million, it sounds like in software revenue this year, You've had some success with software in the past, as you just articulated with Velocity Mail. You've got the distribution centers that you're opening up. Of the, call it 98 million that is essentially coming, that you're reselling, right, through your platform. Obviously you have a significant amount of that as cost of goods sold. You have to buy the product and then you mark it up and you sell it to somebody else.
Our average gross margins on that stuff is, we'll call it 10 to 20 points.
Okay, got it. So not basis points, hopefully, percentage points, right?
Gross margin.
Yeah, but I'm saying
so if I sold it for $1,000, I'm making $100 to $200.
Yeah, got it. I'm just saying 10 points in finance terms is 0.1%. 10 points in terms of if you're talking percentages is 10%. It's very different things.
Right. Very different things.
Yeah. So on 100 million going through your platform, you might, again, gross margin would be something like, 10 million through the platform.
Yes.
Okay, very cool. Talk to me about your team today. How many people?
A little over 130 right now between the different locations.
Okay, and where are the different locations?
Denver, Louisville, Kentucky, Dallas, and Limerick, Ireland.
Okay. Now, are you burning cash right now, or are you cash flow positive?
I'm always cash flow positive. I got 2 years out of 24 that I was not profitable.
Mm-hmm. Well, by the way, being unprofitable is, if you sense a big opportunity, it might not be a bad thing, right? So
it's just that from a discipline standpoint, being a bootstrapper, I'm used to running. I've used a business that was very, very bootstrappable, being a VAR, that had relatively low barriers to entry. And I've used technology to scale that business in a way that allows me to take profits off of that and the opportunities that it presents, because it puts me into the customer supply chain. All of these software products are a result of customers on my IT side that came to us, ask us to solve business process automation problems, and we ended up building a product out of it.
Yep.
And usually I have a customer before I build it.
Yep. No, that's good. Now, when you say profitable, are you talking 10% a month to the bottom line, 20%? What's that look like?
On software as a service or on the VAR business?
No, your VAR business. It's $98 million.
On the VAR business, it's more like 4.
Okay. So if you sell 100 million, right, you're taking
Right.
10%, so 10 million, and then 4% of the 10 million hits the bottom line.
Yep.
So about 400 grand.
No, 4 million.
Okay. Well, so that would be 40%.
No, no.
We're talking about different things.
I'm not talking basis points. I'm talking percentages. So I'm netting out on we'll call it $100 million worth of hardware business, about 4 million.
Yeah, which is 4%.
Yes, 4%. Yes.
Correct. What I was saying.
That's what I thought. It's what I said.
Yeah, Kevin, we're talking past each other. If you give me a second to explain, we'll be on the same page. What I'm saying is, you told me you take 10% of the 100 million, right? That's your gross margin. That's 10 million. What you're then saying is, of the 10 million, you're taking 40%, not
I
4.
misunderstood the way you used to ask the question.
Oh, I know. It's because
my net profits, my net profits are around 4% of ours.
Correct. Which again would be about, it sounds like 4 million. It's actually more, in my opinion, you should say that the other way. It's way more impressive, right? Of the 10 million after cost of goods sold, You're taking 40% to the bottom line, 4 million.
Yes.
Yes. So very good. So you list out that sit on the balance sheet. I mean, that's not a great use of capital. What do you do with it? You just let it sit there?
Well, right now I'm funding Jellyfish, for work. I've got a 3D division that this year is going to be its first cash flow positive year. That's a 4-year. I've got a couple $1 million invested into cutting edge 3D technology and being a market developer in that space. I just did my first acquisition in that sector. I just bought a company called 3D Print Store.
For how much?
Accucode 3D. And I've got an AI R&D project going on in Ireland where we're developing some really cutting edge IP on using neural networks. And we got some grant money from the Irish government and the University of Limerick to build that.
Kevin, we're running out of time here. Last few questions. So over the past 12 months, how many customers have you essentially resold at least one product to?
Resold one product to?
Correct.
I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
Yeah, so I'm curious basically how many customers you're working with over the past 12 months.
Oh, an average customer this year, we're doing with over 1,000 companies a year.
Okay, and those are companies that you're buying a product from and then marking it up and selling it to somebody else, right?
Oh, you're talking about on the vendor side?
That's why I'm asking.
Yeah, the supplier side, probably less than 20.
Okay, then you have over 1,000 buyers.
1,000 buyers, 1,000 corporate customers, yes.
Okay, great. So again, supply side, there's less than 20 folks, companies supplying the products that you are then selling to across 1,000 different corporate companies.
And most of those come from vendors like Zebra and Honeywell, Cisco, Panasonic, relatively large names in our sector.
Yep. No, that's great. So you consider, just to be clear, do you consider your customer the 20 or the 1,000?
The 1,000.
Okay, the 1,000.
The vendors are, that's my tool set. The technologies that I can, bring to bear on anybody's process.
Yep. Very good. All right, let's wrap up here with the famous 5. Number 1, what's your favorite business book?
My favorite business book, Built to Last.
Number 2, is there a CEO you're following or studying?
No.
Number 3, what's your favorite online tool for building your company besides any of your own?
My favorite what?
Online tool.
Probably Google Docs.
Number 4, how many hours?
Collaboration tool.
How many hours of sleep do you get every night?
Oh, I probably get over 8.
And what's your situation? Married, single, kids?
Twice divorced, 3 kids, 19, 25, and 26.
Okay. And and how old are you?
50.
Last question. What do you wish your 20-year-old self knew?
Oh, patience.
Seems like you have that. You're 25 years in the making.
Yeah, but I didn't start out that way. I acquired it along the path. I started out pretty angry. I was really good at bludgeoning my moment into submission.
Guys, Accucode launched 25 years ago. They'll break $100 million in terms of products sold, resold through their platform this year, of which they take on average, call it 10% of that, so $10 million. And then it's super cash flow positive, $4 million to the bottom line each year. Now, inside of this, they are building many, many SaaS products, software products, having a lot of success. They built one called Velocity Mail, up to $5 million in revenue, sold it last year for $26 million to Descartes, which is obviously a public company there. So a lot of success there as they scales and invest in new R&D, new software products, new AI stuff around the globe. Kevin, thank you for taking us to the top.
Thank you.